How did a simple shepherd from the Iberian mountains manage to defeat some of Rome's greatest generals, making the empire tremble before his brilliance? Rome, the greatest military power of the ancient world, had crushed entire civilizations. Yet, in the arid lands of Lusitania, it faced an unexpected enemy, Viriathus. He wasn't a king, nor a trained commander, but he achieved the impossible, repeatedly defying Rome, frustrating its armies, and humiliating its generals. Now, imagine the frustration and despair of Roman generals, leaders accustomed to victory, watching their legions fall into ambushes and their strategies dismantled by a man who used the terrain, courage, and intelligence as his deadliest weapons. These commanders didn't just face an enemy, they faced a true symbol of resistance. Who were these Roman commanders who tried, and failed, to defeat Viriathus? Why did their strategies, successful against other powers, prove useless against this Lusitanian warrior? And in the end, what price did Rome pay to finally silence this relentless rival? In today's video, we'll dive into the campaigns of the Roman generals against Viriathus, uncovering their failures, their strategies, and how the Lusitanian leader turned them into disadvantages. Discover the stories of Servius Sulpicius Galba, Gaius Vetilius, and others, revealing the behind-the-scenes of one of Rome's greatest humiliations. You'll learn how these generals tried to use force, diplomacy, and even treachery to subdue Viriathus, and why he became one of the empire's most formidable enemies. Get ready for a journey into intelligence, bravery, and the unyielding persistence of a people resisting the mightiest power of their time. If you love exploring the stories of heroes and strategists who defied empires, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring you more epic content and share these incredible stories with a wider audience. Now, let's uncover the secrets of the battles between Viriathus and Rome's generals. The story of Viriathus begins in the rugged mountains of the Iberian Peninsula, where his life as a shepherd shaped his deep connection to the land and his ability to thrive under harsh conditions. This intimate bond with the terrain would later make him one of the greatest threats to Roman dominance. For the Lusitanians, Viriathus was more than a military leader. He became a symbol of resistance, born out of the outrage against the atrocities committed by Rome. After massacres devastated entire villages, his rise was inevitable, fueled by a desire for vengeance and the necessity to defend what remained of his people's culture. The first skirmishes between the Lusitanians and the Roman armies revealed Viriathus' strength. He understood that he was facing a seemingly invincible power, but used that to his advantage. While Roman generals relied on rigid formations and standardized strategies, Viriathus adapted his tactics to the geography and the mobility of his warriors. Ambushes in mountain passes, nighttime assaults, and rapid withdrawals left the legions bewildered, unable to match the unpredictability of an enemy who seemed to disappear as quickly as he attacked. Viriathus' motivation extended beyond sheer hatred. He recognized that only the unity of the Lusitanian people could stand against Rome's expansion. His charisma was instrumental in consolidating this unity, bringing together tribes that were often rivals to rally around a common goal, protecting their homeland. Yet, as the resistance grew stronger, Rome's response became more aggressive. This escalating conflict brought forth Roman commanders who believed themselves capable of crushing any opposition. One such commander was Servius Sulpicius Galba, whose actions marked the beginning of a period defined by betrayal and brutality in the war against the Lusitanians. Galba assumed command with the goal of swiftly quelling the rebellion, but his ruthless methods achieved the opposite. What led Galba to believe he could negotiate with Viriathus? And how did the Lusitanians' trust turn into one of the most heinous betrayals of the era? Galba arrived in Lusitania to confront a determined resistance, but his promises of peace temporarily disarmed the Lusitanians. He gathered local leaders under the pretense of seeking a peaceful resolution, only to orchestrate a brutal massacre that left thousands of unarmed men dead and their families enslaved. This act of treachery resonated deeply throughout the region, further solidifying Viriathus's image as the rightful defender of his people. Rather than intimidating the Lusitanians, Galba's cruelty reignited their resolve. Viriathus, having survived the atrocity, seized the tragedy as an opportunity to strengthen his leadership. He transformed the outrage into strategy, unifying warriors and demonstrating that armed resistance was the only way to safeguard their lands. Galba, on the other hand, underestimated the impact of his betrayal. To Rome, he returned as a victorious commander. To the Lusitanians, he became the embodiment of Roman dishonor. Galba's tactics revealed more than his lack of morality. They exposed Rome's struggles against an unconventional foe. While the Romans anticipated battles fought in open fields, the Lusitanians struck unpredictably, always exploiting weaknesses in the Roman organization. This pattern of misjudgments would repeat with other commanders, but for Galba, the stain of his betrayal would linger long after his campaign ended. The moral defeat Galba inflicted upon Rome was only the beginning. Every one of his actions seemed to fuel the legend of Viriathus, who, far from being cowed, extended his reach and influence. But what would happen when Rome sent a seasoned general like Gaius Vetilius, whose approach promised to be more direct and lethal? Could Viriathus's guerrilla tactics withstand this new and formidable challenge? Gaius Vetilius, a seasoned Roman general, entered Lusitania with the confidence of a man accustomed to victory. His experience in traditional warfare made him believe he could outmatch Viriathus through sheer force and discipline. Vetilius relied on tried-and-true Roman tactics, focusing on sieges and open-field confrontations. Yet, these methods, effective in other territories, were wholly unsuited for the rugged terrain of Lusitania and the unorthodox brilliance of Viriathus's strategies. Viriathus anticipated Vetilius's reliance on traditional approaches and turned the terrain into his greatest weapon. Narrow passes, dense forests, and arid plains became the stage for a series of ambushes that decimated Roman forces. Instead of direct engagements, Viriathus used hit-and-run attacks, striking swiftly before disappearing into the wilderness. These skirmishes not only drained the Romans physically, but also eroded their morale, forcing them into a state of constant vigilance and fear. Vetilius soon realized that his adversary was unlike any he had faced before. The psychological toll of the campaign began to weigh on him as his troops grew disillusioned with the lack of progress. Viriathus's ability to inspire his warriors while demoralizing his enemies set him apart as a leader. His unpredictability left the Roman forces vulnerable, culminating in a devastating defeat that claimed Vetilius's life. The loss of such an experienced general shocked Rome, proving that conventional tactics were powerless against Viriathus's mastery of guerrilla warfare. This defeat not only highlighted Viriathus's ingenuity, but also underscored Rome's growing desperation. The empire's inability to subdue a single leader in a remote province raised questions about the limits of its military supremacy. As more Roman generals fell victim to Viriathus's tactics, the Senate began to explore alternative solutions to this persistent threat. Could treachery succeed where brute force had failed? And what price was Rome willing to pay for victory? Rome's frustration with Viriathus's unyielding resistance led to a dramatic shift in strategy. After repeated failures on the battlefield, the Senate turned to subtler, more insidious methods. Diplomacy and corruption replaced swords and shields as Rome sought to dismantle Viriathus's influence from within. This shift marked a turning point in the conflict, as the empire's military might gave way to political manipulation and treachery. Quintus Servilius Scipio, one of the generals tasked with defeating Viriathus, exemplified this new approach. Instead of confronting the Lusitanian leader in open battle, Scipio targeted his inner circle, sowing distrust and exploiting vulnerabilities. Bribes and false promises lured Viriathus's allies into betrayal. These tactics struck at the heart of Viriathus's power, undermining the unity he had painstakingly built among the Lusitanian tribes. The ultimate act of betrayal came when Viriathus was assassinated by his own trusted companions, who had been bribed by Roman agents. This treacherous act ended the life of one of Rome's most formidable adversaries, but left a bitter legacy. While Rome achieved its objective, it did so at the cost of its own honor. The question remained, could the empire have defeated Viriathus in a fair fight? This act of treachery closed a chapter of military humiliation for Rome, but opened a new discourse on the morality of its strategies. Was this victory a sign of Rome's ingenuity or a testament to its desperation? And how did this act of betrayal shape the future of its relationship with conquered peoples? Before you go, let me ask, was Rome's victory over Viriathus a testament to its ingenuity or a desperate act of betrayal? Could the empire have succeeded in a fair fight, or was treachery its only option? Now, imagine entire Roman legions vanishing from history without a trace. What happened to these legendary forces like the 9th and 22nd Legions? Were they defeated, betrayed, or something even more mysterious? Click on the video next to this one to uncover the secrets of Rome's lost legions and how the actions of a single commander could change the course of history.